All right, welcome on in, guys. What is going on? So we have got a juicy new book club. We've officially kicked off an all-new book, and we are going to be reading Lala Ken's book, Give Them Lala. We'll be breaking down 3 chapters a week, and I believe we'll be going for 4 weeks. So tonight we're breaking down the first 3 chapters of Lala's book, which I thought, first of all, very cute book. Look at this fire red look. It's like, oh, cool, oh, cool. What's going on, girl? Hi, guys. What's up, Ansley? What's up, Jova? Hey, Debbie. Oh, hey, Debbie from Australia. What's going on? Snaps for the Debbie in the Aussie land. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome on in, guys. Okay, so like I said, today we're breaking down Lala Ken's book, Give Them Lala, chapters 1, 2, and 3. We have a lot to break down. I hope you are excited. I hope you've purchased your copies. I hope you've read your chapters. We'll be going live here on the Instagram with the rebroadcast on YouTube. We'll be going live here every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. Yay, Ansley, you're going to need to send me a picture of you with your Zack Pack sweatshirt, girl. Send it on in. Love you, boo. Okay. All right, badges are on if you guys want to support. I love you. I appreciate you. Forever. Okay, so shall we break it down? Let's go. Chapter numero uno, Give Them Lala. Chapter 1 is called The H Word, and the H word stands for hoe. That's not what I'm calling her. That's what she's calling herself. So this chapter is basically about embracing your sexuality, embracing your hoe phase, as Lala calls it, and combating slut shaming. She's like, you know what? We're not sluts anymore. We're hoes, and we own it, baby. Own it like we're Lisa Rinna. And Lala says that she was going through her hoe phase when she first came onto Vanderpump Rules, which is why a lot of people, judged her. But we'll get into that, I believe, in the second chapter. Anyway, she says that she was going through her hoe phase when she first joined Vanderpump, and she's very adamant that if you if you do decide to embrace your own hoe phase, you should always be smart, you should always be safe, and you should always be healthy, and always carry Plan B. And condoms, Magnum condoms. She likes Magnum condoms, big ones. I don't know how you gauge a guy's penis size going into things. Normally, you're like, okay, let me look at the hands, let me look at the feet, let me look at the height, and then you get into bed and you're just like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Or you have a guy that's 5'6" and a little stocky, but you're like, okay, he's probably packing a little something nice, and then all of a sudden you get into bed and you're like, what is this burrito in my face? I did not order Mexican for lunch or dinner or dessert. Anyway, I digress. So she says that there's no right or wrong time to have a hoe phase. You can have it at any point in your life. She says that some people have multiple hoe phases. Sometimes they're a hoe and then they decide to not be a hoe. They decide to be a housewife because apparently you can turn a housewife into you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, but according to Lala, you can turn a housewife and a hoe into a housewife, and then you could be a hoe again afterwards. So maybe she was never really a housewife. Maybe she was always a hoe. But anyway, Lala says that you can dip in and out of your hoe phase. And you know what? I think we can all embrace a hoe phase. I wonder if she's going through a hoe phase now that she's single again. I don't know. Have any of you had a hoe phase? I would love to hear about your hoe phase. Please tell me. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Mike Lush. Hi, Keeper Z. What's going on, guys? Welcome on in. So she basically says that this is where it gets a little tricky because we talk a lot about the Rand in the book. And so she going right into it, right out the gate, is very much like, you know what? My hoe phase was actually... This is why she thinks everyone should have a hoe phase. She said, my hoe phase was actually a bridge to finding my soulmate, whose last name I can't wait to share. And I was just like, oh my God, girl, broke my heart. Last name, I can't wait to share. She's not going to share the Emmett last name. Obviously, we know she had a baby, but I don't know if Randall, maybe Randall was, some people believe that you have multiple soulmates. Maybe, maybe, I don't know. Well, I don't think so. I think Randall's done. But anyway, she insists, despite where her life is currently in disarray, she insists that your hoe phase will lead you on to the path of enlightenment. So I've been a hoe for many years. Can't say I'm enlightened by it, but you know what? At least I know how to suck a mean dick. JK, JK. Slide into my DMs. She talks about the double standards, though, between men and women, and how men are allowed to be hoes and women aren't allowed to be hoes. And I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I agree. There is definitely a double standard, but I think maybe this book will kind of help destigmatize having a hoe face. She says that her first season on Vanderpump was she received some of the most intense bullying from the cast and from the viewers, but it ultimately helped her go from Lauren from Utah into Lala from Utah, and how Lala is basically her alter ego. It's her Sasha Fierce, which is really interesting because I remember when I had her on my podcast and I was talking to her about, like having that alter ego, and she's like, you know, it's the person that you channel when you're feeling unconfident or you're not, you know, fully vibing with the person that you grew up, or, you know, the insecurities that you have as a kid going into an adult. And so this is kind of where you find that tough skin as Lala. And she says that she actually isn't offended when people call her Lauren. That's who she is at heart. And so, hi, Giselle. Hi, love. Welcome to the live chat. And so she basically says that, like, she owns Lauren. So when people on social media are like, she's just Lauren from Utah, she's like, yeah, bitch, I am Lauren and I'm from Utah. And what? Or what? Or what? So she decided that she was going to move out of Salt Lake City as Lala, and that she was going to pursue a career in acting and go live in Los Angeles, the land of dreams and, you know, homeless people currently, because it's not so great at the moment. But she moved to Alhambra, which is interesting. That's where my mother lived. It's a very quiet little spot. But she moved to Alhambra. She had a roommate. They split like $200 to share a room together. I don't know what room they were living in. Sounds like it was in some man's 2-bedroom apartment, and, you know, he let some girls come and crash there for a bedroom. I don't know. She didn't get into details, but it sounded kind of creepy. But then she ends up moving to Miracle Mile, which is a little bit better, and she became a fit model. So this was her first, like, real job in Los Angeles, as she was a fit model. Ooh, yum, michelada. I don't like micheladas. I don't know why I said yum, but that sounds like a great vibe for you, Giselle. So she was a fit model, which basically means you model clothes and they take photos of you and then chop off your head, like you're, you know, like they're the headless horseman. And it's really just to show off the clothes and not to show off what a hot bad bitch you are. She said that she made her agency book her as much as she could legally work, but that most models are only working about 2 days a week. And she's like, no way, Jose, you push me to my limit. I'm a hustler, baby. Let me sell those Depends. And then she talks about dating this guy, Carter Hoffman, who's a football player and ended up being a pro football player. And apparently Carter wasn't that great of a boyfriend, yet she wanted to be, you know, the cool girlfriend. She wanted to be the cool girl. And she's like, if you want to go hang out with your friends, babe, that's cool. I'm a cool girl. I'm going to be a cool mom one day, but I'm a cool girlfriend and I'm good with it. If you don't want to spend time with me, but instead you want to spend time with your friends, you deserve that. And she details this one time where she was at a friend's house and he was supposed to pick her up from the friend's house one night, but that the night kept going on and on and on. And she's like, yo, where you at? Like, she couldn't believe that he wasn't even there yet because it was getting like towards midnight. And she's like, this is getting really late and this is getting really out of hand. And like, I have to be in bed or else I'm going to have bags tomorrow. And she called, which she should actually just try some Peter Thomas Roth under eye gels. They're great. They work like magic. Nobody knows when I'm hungover. Actually, that's a lie. But they do help. So she called him and she's like, yo, where are you? Like, I'm waiting for you. And he's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I got pulled over by the cops. And she's like, oh God, of course you got pulled over by the cops. And then he's like, I'll be there soon. And she's like, okay. So then she waits a little longer and he's still not there. And so she calls him again and she's like, oh, babe, sorry, I got a flat tire. I was like, okay. So first he got pulled over by the cops. Then he ended up getting a flat tire on his way to go pick her up. And then Tom's house was broken into and he confronted the burglar and then had to go have eye surgery. And then his car flipped over 5 times before he was able to get to Lala. He finally arrives at 3 a.m. If a man arrived to pick me up at 3 a.m., first of all, I would have called a fucking Uber. I'm not going to wait past 11 o'clock. Like, I have to really love you if I'm even staying out until 11 o'clock to actually wait for your ass. But anyway, Finally, he gets there. He picks her up. They take her home. And she says that when she got there, there were signs of cheating. Like all of her bags were like hidden away in the closet. And she's looking at the bed and she's like, I know I made the bed this morning. And he was like, no, you didn't. And she was like, yes, I did. And he was like, no, you didn't. She's like, why does it look like some bitch was in my bed? And he's just like, I don't know. Maybe you imagined it. And she's like, imagined what? Imagine. And he's like, maybe you did this. He was trying to gaslight her. He's like, maybe you ended up hooking up with somebody and you messed up the bed to make it look like I was hooking up with somebody. And then these fucking guys wonder why we're crazy and why they think that we're crazy. You know what I mean? Like these fucking fuck boys are just like, you're the one that's crazy. And it's like, no, you told me you loved me last weekend. You gave me a ring. This is getting too personal. Sorry, guys. Anyway, she ended up finding signs that Carter was cheating on her. And so she ended up leaving Carter, and she was like, I'm done, we're done, this is done, you're a hoe, I'm a hoe, everybody's a hoe, ho, ho. And then she got her girlfriend, and they went to the market, and they ended up stocking on all the essentials. And she's like, anytime your heart's broken, these are the two things that you have to stock up on: vodka and a box of Magnum condoms. So when you're going to go into your hoe phase, everybody, I hope you're taking notes. When you go into your hoe phase, you stock up on vodka and you stock up on Magnum condoms. But she also says that she didn't have like a lot of toilet paper at that time, which is a really weird like thing to not have. I feel like, okay, maybe you don't have like a blender, but like you should always have toilet paper, even if you're in your like early 20s. And you know, I always have toilet paper. Well, actually, to be fair, during 2020 when toilet paper was a little scarce, I was like, well, you know what, at least I got running water and a shower. And so, you know, I would make my own not a duvet, what is it, bidet. That's the one. Luckily I never had to resort to that, but it was always an option, you know, resourceful. You find a way to do it. So anyway, vodka and a box of Magnum condoms. Not just regular condoms, but Magnum condoms. Ooh, Suki. Yes, great idea. Chocolate sounds amazing. Also a necessity. Dark chocolate, though, you know, because we don't want the dairy because we want to keep the skin cute. Anyway, so she says that it was after Carter that she went and she got the stuff, and then she dumped all the Magnum condoms into her top drawer of her dresser, and she was just like, that's it. I'm going to keep them rotating. Where them hoes at? And so she said that she had her first real nightstand after this, and she talks about having a hoe door. And the hoe door was great, even though not everybody has a hoe door. Very rarely do people have hoe doors. They have hoe windows, but it's basically where you can sneak guys in and out. And so she's like, the apartment front door, like everyone has a front door and like a living area, but in her bedroom, she had a door that exited right outside of the apartment. So she was able to kind of bring guys in and out without even having to like work them through the apartment or let her roommate know how many guys she was banging. And like that would have been very convenient. Except I don't have roommates. I live on my own. So who the fuck cares how many men I bring in? Well, I guess the front door man kind of knows, but whatever. You know what? Whatever. Anyway. The hoe door was great because it was very easy access for guys, and they could leave when she wanted them to leave, and they could come in at any hour of the night except 3 a.m. because I'm asleep at that point. And then she talks about Andre Smith. And Andre Smith was a guy from Salt Lake City. And he was coming to LA, but he needed a place to crash. So she's like, you know what? Come crash with me, babe. You can come. You can spend the night in my room. And we'll be like friends with benefits, but we won't actually be together. We'll just be sharing a space. But we're not committed. But, you know, we can do boom boom in the bedroom when we're both feeling horny. And so one night he was supposed to be out, and I believe at his sister's house. And so she ended up inviting another guy over, which, to be fair, I get it. If you have a friend with benefits, cool, no judgment. I have a couple of them. They're great. However, if they're living with you and they're sleeping in your bed, it's a little awkward to then bring other guys into the same bed, and then he has to come home and then sleep in the same bed that you're banging other guys in. It's a little weird, okay? It's a little weird. Anyway. So the guy that she had over was Cooper, and I don't know, she probably met him on Tinder. He was a friend of her roommates, okay? So one night when Andre 3000 was supposed to be out, he decided to come home early, and he was like, hey, babe, I'm home. And she was like, oh, snap, Cooper, you got to go. Jump out the whole window. And he was like, I'm not going to jump out the whole window. I'm a grown man. And she's like, okay, well, at least go hide in my roommate's room while, you know, I find a way to sneak you out. And so Andre 3000 ends up coming through the door, and he's like, hey, babe. He's like, oh, Lala, I'm home. And she's like, oh, hey, boo, how's it going? And she's like chilling in the bed, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? And she's like, nothing. He's like, why are you so dewy? And she's like, oh, it's Evian face spray. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he gets into bed with her and he's feeling a little frisky and he's like cuddling up with her. And like, meanwhile, I guess Cooper is still hiding in the other room. And then he's like, what's wrong with you? You seem a little off. And she's like, okay. Tom's house is broken into and he confronted the burglar. And then I ended up sleeping with another guy and he's in the other room. And then Andre 3000 was not happy about that. So he went and busted out the door and went in to go find Cooper. He's like, yo, bro, you sleeping with my chick? And then Cooper's like, she ain't your chick, homie. Regulate. And so it didn't end up going very, very well because Andre 3000 ended up at 3000. He's butt out of there and he moved out and he was like, we're done. 0, 0, 0, done. But she said that, her conscience just made her feel like she had to tell him, that she had another guy in the other room who was just in this bed. And then Andre 3000 was like, you know what? You could have been with the millionaire. And she's like, you know what? One day I will be. And he's going to cheat on me with lots of other women. And it was all over. And she kept sleeping with Carter. Haven't we all had a Carter, right? We've all had a Carter. She kept sleeping with Carter, but it kept hurting her because she knew that Carter was never going to give her what she wanted. We've all been there. Lala. Trust me. And then enter Cody. And Cody was a new guy, and she ended up having her first date with Cody on Valentine's Day. And like, what a fun vibe. And they didn't end up working out either. Spoiler alert. But he ended up breaking up with her because he said that she was just like a big pothead and I don't know, she wasn't really going anywhere with his life and he was trying to go somewhere with she wasn't going anywhere with her life and he was trying to go somewhere with his life. And so on his way like to depart from or on his way to break up with her, he was like, hey, I have a bunch of edibles. Do you want some edibles? And Lala's like, edibles aren't cheap. So in Los Angeles, when we get free edibles, yeah, I'm going to take some free edibles. So even though he was breaking up with me, I was like, yeah, I'm going to take your baggie of free edibles, which if a guy's breaking up with you, I don't know if taking a free baggie of edibles that he's going to give you is the best idea, but I guess she had a lot of faith in him. So he shows up with the baggie and he gives her the baggie of edibles with a side of toilet paper because she never had toilet paper. And he's like, here's some toilet paper and here's a bag of edibles. And on the bag of edibles, it said, fuck you. And she was very happy about that. She wasn't happy about that, but she was just like, she was fired up about it, But she attributes Lala to Carter. And so she's like, you know what? Whatever. She ended up giving him his fuck you bag back with the toilet paper, which I was like, keep the edibles, yes, but also keep the toilet paper because apparently if you're not buying toilet paper, like we're going to be in a pandemic, like this was a few years ago. So like we were going to be in a pandemic one day and one day toilet paper is going to be very scarce. So you should just hold on to it because one day it may be like currency. So anyway, she attributes becoming Lala to Carter because Carter played Lauren so often. So she said this is when, after Cody, she's like, you know what? I'm just going to start treating these guys like they treat me. I'm going to be a total dude to them, and we'll see where this goes. And she said that a woman that had a healthy mental state, she was now a woman that had a healthy mental state and felt empowered in her body and her sexuality. And then she said that Carter ended up falling in love with Lala. He wasn't in love with Lauren because Lauren was always emotionally available and wanted to be there for him. And now she doesn't have, like, Lauren doesn't exist in Carter's world anymore. And now Lala's here and Lala's the hoe. And Lala's like, I don't give a fuck about you. And he was like, okay, I like this. You don't care about me. Now I want you, which is so annoying. I hate when guys, like, it's annoying. I don't know if it's a real thing that, like, if you end up, like, do guys just have to grow up or do you just have to be total douchebags to them in order for them to fall in love with you? It just doesn't sound like a very healthy concept of love. But anyway, he fell in love with Lala. Not Lauren, but by that point, she was like, Lala and Lauren, we're done with him. Thank you. Next. Swipe left. She's like, if you can't love me at my Lauren, then you can't have me at my Lala. Then we get into chapter 2. And chapter 2, she titled it, Reality TV Saved My Life. And this is where she talks about working at SUR. So obviously we know that Lala was a fit model, but now we know that Lala worked at SUR. So this was like one of her first restaurant jobs was at SUR. But this was before Lisa Vanderpump was even an owner at SUR, which is interesting. So she's like, I knew all the OGs. She's like, I knew Jax before Jax was Jax. I knew Jax when he was Jason at the bar. And she said that she was even present for Jax and Stassi's first encounter together, like when they first met and had their moment. She was like, I was there for that. I witnessed it, bitch. And so she says that she ended up quitting SUR because she got yelled at because apparently there was like a high roller client at one of the tables and she screwed something up, and then she like popped off at them, and then the owner ended up coming up to her and was like, you don't pop off on especially the big roller customers, and how dare you. And she was like, you know what, I'm done. And so she walked right out and she never looked back until they asked her to be on Vanderpump Rules. And so that later, years later, she ended up going on an audition, and it ended up terribly because all they cared about was how many Instagram followers you have. And she's like, I'm pretty. Why do I need Instagram followers? But apparently all the other girls auditioning for the same job had a lot of Instagram followers. So she was like, oh, this is annoying. I need more Instagram followers if I want to be a serious actress in Los Angeles. So then she went with her friend Danielle, and her friend Danielle was still working at SUR, and her friend Danielle was like, come on, let's have some drinks. We're going to go to SUR. We're going to chill. We're going to get fucked up, and we're going to have a good time. So then she went and had a good time at SUR, and then that's when Lisa Vanderpump spotted her, and Lisa Vanderpump walked over to her and invited her to be a hostess on Vanderpump Rules. And Lala's like, I don't know about that because I want to be an actress, and I'm not a reality star. And Lisa Vanderpump was like, no. You can be a great reality star. I think you're gorgeous, and I think you're going to fit in perfectly here. And so Lisa Vanderpump was actually the one that discovered Lala and helped her get on Vanderpump Rules because she saw her at SUR. But I feel like hot people are at SUR all the time. That, like, I don't know what made Lala stand out. Not that she's not pretty or anything, but, like, I'm just curious as to what some random girl on a random night just attracted Lisa Vanderpump. Thank you so much, Chrissy37X, for the 3 badges. I love you, my dear. So sweet. Appreciate you. Love you. Mwah. But she says that when she joined Vanderpump Rules, the cast did not embrace her, and she was not very happy with them. Sheena and Katie especially weren't very nice to her, which we all remember. She talks about the high fashion job that she had when she was supposed to get flown to Italy, and Sheena and Katie thought that she was a hooker and that she was sleeping with this guy in order to get this free vacation to Italy. And she then never ended up going on the trip because she was too mortified by the experience on Vanderpump Rules, and they were all calling her a whore and a homewrecker and all these things. And she said that Jax and James were the only 2 that were nice to her, but it was only because they wanted to bang her. But apparently, she was also still talking to Carter at the time and ate his ass. And she told James that she ate Carter's ass, and then James brought it up on the show. So then she had to be like, hey, Carter, so I just want you to know that the whole world is about to know that I ate your ass. And I can't promise that I said it tasted very good. And Carter was very pissed, and he's like, I'm a football player. All I want to do is play football. I don't want to be on your stupid reality show. It's so stupid, and I can't believe you told people that you ate my ass. Like, now everyone's going to know that you ate my ass. And, like, listen, if it was good, then, I mean, I don't know why you would hide that, but whatever. But the rest of the cast kept slut-shaming Lala. So she's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to really embrace this hoe in me, and I'm going to do it to get a rise out of them. And so she turned into the biggest hoe you could ever find. But luckily, Lisa Vanderpump had her back. And LVP was like, you know what? I support you. You do you. These other girls wish that they were you. And apparently, at the same time, Carter's agent tried to get him on Vanderpump Rules, since now his ass was a point of discussion, but it ultimately didn't work out. They didn't want him on the show. Apparently, his ass wasn't that great. So she ended up drinking more because she was anxious while filming because she wasn't getting along with the cast. And obviously her relationship with Carter was now, tumultuous. And now she found out he tried to back end her by getting on the show through his agent. And it was just a hot mess express. So then she talks about the time that she and James were invited on Watch What Happens Live. Oof. So she says that her and James, their relationship was very friendly, very flirty, that they would make out, but that they never banged, but that they would get jealous of each other if one of them hooked up with somebody else. And I was like, well, that's weird. That sounds like you guys are into each other, but why won't you guys just like fully go for it? Interesting. But they would always get hammered, especially together. They were great drinking buddies. And they ended up getting pretty hammered before going on Watch What Happens Live. And then throughout the entire taping, they ended up cursing a lot. And apparently when Andy was getting frustrated, because apparently when you are on live TV, which Watch What Happens Live is live TV, when you're on it and you curse, they have to bleep out the entire sentence, which then becomes annoying because then so much of the conversation is bleeped. But that Lala and James kept dropping F-bombs and they were Liddy City and they were just having a good time. And Andy was getting so pissed at them that at the end of the night, he ended up naming James and Lala the jackhole of the week, which never happens. And he's never named his guests jackholes of the week. But Lala and James were the first to actually get named the jackhole of the week. So they didn't even get a pic with Andy afterwards because he was that pissed. He was like, I always take a picture with my guests. I love my guests, but not this time. He just stormed out of the studio and it was bad news bears. So then she went home and she said that she couldn't really sleep, but she Googled herself in the morning. And the next morning she saw that there was a lot of bad backlash from the audience and from Andy saying how upset and disappointed he was in them. But luckily she called her dad and her dad coached her through it. And she ended up apologizing to both Andy and Lisa. Interesting. I don't know if I would say James has small dick energy. I actually think James Kennedy has like long, skinny dick energy. You know what I mean? Like it's long and lanky. And I don't know if I feel like he's awkward with it and doesn't really know what to do with it. But then we get into the final chapter of tonight, which is chapter 3. And chapter 3 is titled, I, Lauren Birmingham, will not stop until I am in the movies. And this is where we go back to her childhood. And in this chapter, she talks about growing up in Salt Lake City and how her family turned their backs on Mormonism. Not her entire family, but like her parents turned their backs on Mormonism. So she wasn't raised a Mormon, even though she was around a lot of other Mormons. And her extended family, they were all still Mormon. But she loved to provoke a reaction out of her Mormon family. And there would be other like Mormons in her life that would try to like persuade her to come over to the dark side. And they'd be like, we do polygamy. And she's like, I'm good. And so they would always go to her grandmother's house on Saturday nights for dinner, which is where Lala loved to push buttons, and she had no interest in rules, and she even tattooed heathen on her body so that people knew she was a heathen. Okay. And then one day, she told her mom that she was going to be an actress. She was like, Mom, I'm going to be an actress. And her mom was like, okay, cute. And she said that becoming an actress was inspired by Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, which is interesting. Well, I mean, I guess when you're a kid, when you're a young girl and you see these two other young girls that have this mega stardom and they have dolls and all these TV shows and film specials, like I guess that's something you can aspire to. The Olsen twins. Cute vibe. So she ended up signing a contract with one of her friends, assuring that she would not stop until she became an actress and she was in the movies. So she signed a little contract at 2 years old. I don't know, it was something young and ridiculous. And then she started taking theater classes, and she said that she really loved entertainment and she loved pop culture. And it just, it continued to pull her soul. And she said that her idols, as she got older, ended up ditching Mary-Kate and Ashley. And then her new idol became Beyonce, who's not an actress, but has done some acting, but is just a pop culture figure. She also talks about her parents and how they are very much in love and how they're pretty much ride or die for each other. And she says, my parents are ride or die, just like me and my fiance, Randall. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if you're truly a ride or die. Sounds like you're more ride or lie, because there are a lot of lies in your relationship and you left your man, who is your soulmate, and you're ride or die. But was he really? But in the book, it's in print. Say it, forget it, write it, regret it. That's a Dorindaism. So she also talks about how she got her work ethic from her mother, and her mother taught her to never rely on a man. Mama taught her how to work hard, how to never share a bank account with a man, which is interesting, and how to always save up because God forbid one day he leaves you or ends up in a Tom Girardi scandal. And you don't want to get caught up in that business, and you always want to make sure you have an exit plan. She then details a heart attack that her dad had when she was young and in school, and how he ended up having to have open heart surgery, which left him needing to be on blood thinners for the rest of his life. And that was really scary because, there would be times where he would get little cuts, but because he was on the blood thinners, he would bleed so much that he would almost bleed to death, which is really scary. And she's like, oh my God, I was just in a constant state of anxiety as a kid because I constantly thought that my dad was going to die. And he had like a heart valve and she could hear it ticking. And so she said that when she would give him a hug and she would lay her head on his chest, she could hear the ticking, which felt nice and comforting because then she knew his heart was working. But then it was also scary because she said that it felt like it was counting down to the day that he died. And I was like, oh my God, that's like so traumatic for a child. But she said that was the cause of a lot of her anxiety growing up, was losing her dad, which was unfortunate. Very scary. Ansley, you got a new profile picture, my love. You look gorgeous. The hair, I love it. I love it. Was the cheating going on the whole time? Possibly. Oh my God. Thank you, Chrissy37X, for the additional badges. Chrissy coming in hot. I love it, my love. Thank you, Chrissy. Okay, guys, that's it. Those are the first 3 chapters of Give Them Lala by Lala Kent. If you haven't got the book yet, you can still get it. You can order it on Amazon. It is on my Amazon storefront. So if you want to support the show that way, I do make an Amazon affiliate commission off of that. So if you want to support the show and you haven't bought the book yet, amazing. You can also get it on Kindle. I personally just love a hard copy. Sounds like my noggin. Or you can go on Audible. I do have an Audible affiliate as well. I believe it's audible.com/justplainzack. Or it's not audible.com/Zack. No, it's audible.com/justplainzack, I believe. So, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in to Give Them Lala Book Club Part 1, Chapters 1, 2, and Trey. 1, 2, and Trey. How did you guys like the book? I thought he was, but what about now? He was what? What are you talking about, Debbie? I thought the first 3 chapters were good. I think the book gets a lot better the deeper we get into it. Obviously, we have to give some context and some backstory. I don't love the hoe face chapter. Like, I guess it was kind of fun and scandalous. It's an interesting way to open up the book for sure. But I think, there's a lot more meat in the book the later that we go. So I'm glad we got to address Vanderpump Rules. I'm glad we got to address her Mormon upbringing or lack thereof. And we talked about the hoe phase. We're going to get more into like her relationship with Randall. How many chapters is the book? I believe it's 12 chapters. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, 12. So this book club will be 4 weeks long. 12 chapters total, 3 a week. No, Jax was into the fame. Yeah, I believe that too. Jax is into Randall. That's interesting. I don't think Jax is... Oh, Jax is into Randall for the fame. I don't think he's like interested in him because he wants to like suck him off. Yeah, Jax wants to be famous. Jax wants to like, Oh, thanks. Thanks, Rency the Great, 21. Thank you. I love my hair too. Platinum. Perfection. Naturally. Okay. Well, any other closing thoughts about book club this week, guys? I read the book a while back and I enjoyed it. I agree that it gets better further in. Yeah, I remember when I first read it, it does get a lot better the deeper into the book we get. Yeah, he was into it for the fame and the money. Or, the money that Randall had. So, like, the private jets and all the exclusive, expensive, fancy parties. How does Jax pay his bills now that he's a dad and living in the same neighborhood? I'm pretty sure they have some Vanderpump money saved up. I'm pretty sure they have a lot of endorsement deals that they're doing to keep the bills paid. A lot of like social media ads and all of that sort of stuff. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning into book club. Should we do a quiz time? Are you guys down for quiz time? Were you taking notes? That might be kind of fun to do tonight. Yeah, they all do endorsements on Instagram, which helps pay some of the bills. Shall we do quiz time? Yes? Alicia, you're down? Suki, are you down for quiz time? Chrissy's down for quiz time. All right. Let's get it. Ow. Show them hips, girl. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe saved up a lot from the show. Okay, here we go. There are 8 questions in quiz time tonight. The first one comes, as you know, we go in chronological order. First one comes from chapter 1, and that is, what did Lala Kent move to Los Angeles to become? What did Lala want to become when she moved to LA? Dun, 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 dun. An actress. That's right, Ansley. She wanted to become an actress. That is correct, Mundo. Yes, Ansley. Yes, Chrissy. Yes, Tones. Yes, Suki. Yes, Debbie. All correct. Next question. It goes to Ansley because Ansley was the first one to clock in her answer. Next question. What was the name of the boy that Lala just couldn't quit? She loved that boy, and she just couldn't quit it. And she let him continue to hit it, even though he broke her heart time and time again. Time after time. Carter, that's right, Chrissy. We've all had a Carter, haven't we? Oh, God, we hate Carter. I mean, we love Carter, but we hate Carter at the same time. Okay, question numero tres. When she first got her heart broken by Carter, what are the 2 items that she ran to the store to stock up on? What 2 items did Lala stock up on after Carter first broke her heart? Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? That's right, Debbie. Wow, we do not have a clear winner tonight. Debbie, you are correct. Vodka and condoms. Magnum condoms specifically, Debbie. It's Deb's OG. Do you know me? It's Deb's OG. Okay. What job did Lala have when she first moved to Los Angeles? What job did Lala Kent have when she first moved to Los Angeles? What did she do? What did she do? It wasn't Sir. She was a model, yes. A fit model. She was not a fly model. She was a fit model. I don't know. Ansley did say model, but Debbie was more specific with fit model. Who gets the point? Who gets the point? I mean, I guess a fit model is very specific, and Ansley was the first one to answer. So, Ansley, you're going to get the point, my love, because you're technically correct. Okay. Both get the point. Oh, okay, that's fair. I'll give it to you both. Well, I can't give it to you both because then the first 2 people to answer. Okay, fine. I'll break the rules one time, but we can't do this again in the future. Only because it's not, because then the first 2 people to answer, they can't always all get the answers. Okay, but we'll do it because it was technically correct. Give it to Ansley and Deb. Okay, so it's a tie right now between Ansley and Debbie. What restaurant did Lala work at before landing her job on Vanderpump Rules? Dun 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 dun. What did? Where? Yes, Ansley, that is correct. It was Sir. Ansley came to kill it tonight. Ansley, hey. Okay. Next, question number 5. Who approached Lala to join Vanderpump Rules? Who was the first person to approach Lala to join Vanderpump Rules? Lisa Vanderpump, that's correct. Wow, Ansley is on fire tonight. OMG, Ansley. That's right, Debbie. That's right, Chrissy. That's right, Tones. Yes, Debbie. Yes, Suki. That is all correct, Amundo. Next question. Question number 6. 6 of 7. Growing up, who was Lala most inspired to become an actress by? Who were her American idols? Bound I rival the un-American idols. Who inspired Lala to become an actress or to want to become an actress? Dun, dun, dun. Hi, Maxie. That's right, Chrissy. It was the Olsen twins. Wow. We are. It was not Beyonce. It was the Olsen twins, and then it became Beyonce later on. Last question. Final question. Are you ready? Final question, final point. What was the source of Lala's anxiety when she was growing up? What was the source of a lot of Lala's anxiety growing up? do 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 ah ah do do. Her dad, yeah. Yes. I mean, I guess her dad's heart attack. I will give it to you, Chrissy. It wasn't necessarily her dad's heart attack as much as it was she was afraid of her dad dying because of his bad heart issues, but it did originate from her dad having a heart attack. So, Chrissy, you are the first person to answer. You get the point. So, Chrissy has 1, 2, 3 points. Chrissy got 3 points. Debbie has 1, 2 points. And Ansley has 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Wow, Ansley, you won by 1 point. That was a close one. Yes, Suki, that was technically right. Her dad's health. That was a great answer as well. Her dad was her rock. I know. I can't wait till we get in. Well, not that I can't wait, but I'm anxiously awaiting the chapter where she loses her dad in the book. But thank you, Ansley. DM me so we can get you a prize sent out this week, my dear. Send me your t-shirt size, or if you don't have, do you have a Tea-Spilling Professional t-shirt yet? If you don't, maybe I'll send you a hat. Whatever item of merch you don't have yet, we'll get it sent out this week, my love. Actually, not the hats, because the hats are sold out. I'm sorry, we are out of inventory on the hats, which I'm hoping Storm Doris DMs me soon, because Storm Doris won a hat last week, and we have to change that because we don't have any more hats to give. But anyway, all right, thanks guys for joining Bravo Book Club. The book this month is Lala Can't Give Them Lala. So give us all the Lala all week long. You can order it on Amazon. You still need a Tea-Spilling Professional. Perfect. DM me your size and your address once again, Ansley, so I can get that shipped out this week. Oh, thank you, Suki. Appreciate you. Love you. Please send me pics when you guys get the merch, when you guys are wearing it out or in. Send me pics. I'd love to see them. I would love to repost them and shout you out. Love you guys. All the merch is available at justplainzack.com/shop. The wine, which I have right here, is available at nofilterwine.com. It's great for holiday parties or great for your Bravo Obsessed besties. If you need a Christmas gift idea, this is a great one. Who doesn't love alcohol, especially when it's Instagram worthy and inspired by housewives, which we all love. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Chrissy, for the badges. You are such a rock star, my dear. I love you. So many badges you sent my way, and I'm very grateful for you. Dun, 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 dun. All right, love you guys. I will talk to you very, very soon. Do you ship merch to Australia? We sure do. Yes, we sure do, Debbie. We ship merch internationally. So head over to justplainzack.com/shop. No, the wine is only available in the U.S. The wine, she asked about merch. Wine is only available in the U.S., but merch is available internationally. So, yes, we do ship to Australia. Boom, boom. Yes, Tons, we will do an after party. Yes, we will. I will pop right back on. For anyone that's just joining, we're popping over. We'll do after party on my personal account at justplainzack. So head over there so you can be all up in the business. All right, guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.